Malivictus here, and well, as you can see, the new colourful desktop and whatnot, but this is not what's going on right here. I was googling for some Imperial pictures for a New World of Tanks mod that I'm doing with a friend, and I came across this wonderful who would win, the Borg versus an Imperial Star Destroyer. Now, there are so many would nots, could nots, hows, and etc., but the guys listed some of the bonuses here, like the Borg Cube apparently has missile weapons, which it doesn't. It has a torpedo. Self-regeneration, cutting beams. Actually, it doesn't have cutting beams. It was an assimilator beam. Tractor beams. No, yet again, it was an assimilator beam. And transwarp capabilities. Fair enough. Imperial Star Destroyer has turbo lasers, but it doesn't say how many. Ion cannons, doesn't say how many. Tractor beams, which we all know it has 3. Projectors, that doesn't make any sense. You probably mean the projector torpedo systems, which is 12 of them, and shield generators, which has 3. Now, the picture in here, this is a Mark 6 Star Destroyer. What the guy hasn't taken into effect is that the Mark 6 Star Destroyer also has a contingency of over 400 TIE fighters, 200 TIE bombers, and I believe it's like 50 or 60 TIE interceptors. Now, taking into effect that also from several wiki pages and even from several Star Trek video footage, the Borg Cube actually has a reduced weapons targeting range of say 600 meters. Well, in Star Trek Online it's like 600 meters, but the Star Destroyer has an immense targeting range. So the fact that the Star Destroyer has range over excuse me, over the Borg Cube literally just tells me that the Star Destroyer is going to win, mostly because yeah, and I know you're going to say, well, the Borg's going to adapt the moment they fire their weapons. Wrong. The Borg cannot adapt to lasers simply because lasers work on a completely different frequency than phasers, okay? A laser is a partically generated beam. A laser is a solid mass, okay? There is gravity involved in lasers, which is why lasers cannot penetrate a black hole, because a black hole pulls in gravity. Do you see what I'm saying? Are you starting to understand now? So, even if the Borg shields did get up in time from the first volley of turbo lasers, the ion cannons alone would disable its shields, because ion cannons are meant to disable electronical devices, i.e. droids, ships. And what's the Borg Cube? Basically full of droids, and it's basically a ship. So the moment its first volley of ion cannons hits the Borg ship, whatever subsystems or main systems are activated at that time, notably engines, shields, life support, would immediately be disabled. So no shields, guess what? Its missiles are going to hit, the TIE bombers are going to hit, the TIE interceptors and TIE, the TIE bombers alone are going to do the majority of the damage. So while the Borg is focusing on the TIE bombers, the Star Destroyer is just going to keep letting off with its ion and turbo cannons with a contingency of its missile subsystems until it can call in for backup. Imperial Star Destroyers don't fight one-on-one. They're not fucking stupid. They will call in for backup, which will most likely be a Mark 7 or a Mark 8. A Mark 7 carries almost a contingent of almost double the TIE fighters. So the Borg's just going to get swarmed by a bunch of wasps, basically, getting stung left, right, and center. Transwarp is a fast form of transportation, do not get me wrong, but hyperdrive, as everyone has said, is a lot faster than transwarp. So even if the Borg Cube did transwarp out, the Star Destroyer's onboard navicomputer will target where it's gone, and then they will just chase after it and finish it off. So it's not like the Borg are indestructible. They are, okay? Now, I'm getting my source from several wiki pages, both on the Star Destroyer and the Borg Cube. Now, if the Borg Cube could cut down the distance between it and the Star Destroyer, like coming up it from behind or from the side, different story. Yeah, the Borg Cube's going to do some damage, but the Star Destroyer is just going to move out of its way while it's still, yet again, calling in for backup. Now, if some Borg drones did get on board this, different story. You know, Imperial Stormtroopers E11 carbine blasters aren't just electrical based, they also have a mini shotgun, so to say. They also have stun settings. They have various, yet again, lasers have various frequencies. The Borg cannot adapt to all frequencies, okay, because each frequency modulation takes up X amount of space in each drone. Each drone can only hold X amount of space. So because one drone's adapted to it, the other one next to him may not have. So eventually you're going to cut the drones down. And if push comes to shove, you know, the Imperial Star Destroyer will always ram the Borg ship and then scuttle itself. It's not uncommon for Imperial Star Destroyers who have realized that they're outgunned and outmatched to scuttle themselves. Think how the German crew used to scuttle their tanks in World War II. If they knew that the enemy could possibly get a hold of a fully functioning Panther or Tiger P or Panzergaswagen, you know, they would personally scuttle they'd set some demo charges around the gun and around the turret ring and purposely destroy the tank so that the enemy couldn't use it against them. Well, that's how the Empire does it. There's certain depth charges based on the ship that only the captain and co-captain know about. It's not known by the rest of the bridge crew unless somehow they were informed. But they just scuttle the Star Destroyer when it's in close proximity to the Borg Cube, and the explosion itself would be adamant to vaporize the Borg Cube, or at least do enough crippling damage that the Borg Cube wouldn't be able to rally itself against the next Star Destroyer behind it, and then the next one behind it, and then the next one behind it. On average, you're probably, if it was a fair fight, equal distance between the two, face-to-face, Star Destroyer hands down. If the Borg Cube managed to flank the Star Destroyer somehow, different story. But like I said, even then, it would only probably be 2 Star Destroyers to 1 Borg Cube in that ratio. And for those who don't seem to understand, yes, an Imperial Star Destroyer is much bigger than a Galaxy-class starship, okay? They've done several size comparisons. Just Google it, you'll find it. And you'll realize that an Imperial Star Destroyer is actually quite a massive ship. So size alone, even if the Imperial Star Destroyer just decided to ram the Borg Cube would take damage. And this is going to be an open debate, guys. If you want to post video links or video responses to this, please go ahead. If you wish to leave a comment down below, go ahead. Don't just dislike the video to dislike the video. Give me a reason why you chose a thumbs down, and we'll discuss it. Like I said, this is going to be an open discussion, but from my point of view and several of my friends' point of views. And before you ask, no, I'm not just a Star Wars fanboy. If you actually look, Star Trek Online. See, I have a Star Trek Online account. I have Armada 2, I have several Star Trek and Star Wars games. So I'm an equal fanboy, as they say. So, but I'm just letting everyone know from a technical aspect side, Star Wars wins, because you cannot adapt to turbo lasers. End of. And this is where I'm going to leave the video, guys. It's 4:54 in the morning. I will probably get this video up later on today. And thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And give me your comments and feedbacks. And as always, peace and love and respect. See you all guys on the far side.